Week 4 of the NBA season was probably the most tame week so far, but there were still some insane games and performances. First of all, there were multiple different game winners from guys like Jason Tatum, Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, and even more. Basically, if a player's name started with a J, then they probably hit a game winner this week. Steph Curry scored 37 points while spoiling Klay Thompson's return to Golden State, and while everyone was watching the Mike Tyson-Jake Paul fight, De'Aaron Fox put on an absolute masterclass performance. Multiple players put up 50 or more points this week, and also the in-season tournament has officially started. So maybe it was less tame than I originally thought it was. Regardless, let's start again with the top team in the league. The Cleveland Cavaliers have somehow managed to extend their winning streak to 15 straight games, giving them the second best record to start a season in NBA history. Again, the only team to have a better start was the 73-win Warriors, who started 24-0. Everything is clicking for them on both sides of the ball, and they've easily become must-see TV every time they play. The Warriors are 11-2 and have won 3 straight games since that bad loss to the Cavaliers. The Klay Thompson homecoming game was actually really cool, and it ended in the most Steph Curry way possible. They just look really good as a team, and several players have stepped up for them so far this season. The Celtics and the Thunder both have 11-3 records, which isn't really surprising. Despite losing Chet Holmgren for the foreseeable future, they've gone 3-1, with their only loss being to the Mavericks by 2 points. Jalen Williams has had some big-time games since Chet got hurt and is literally playing center for them right now. At this point, Thunder fans are just counting down the days until Hartenstein can finally make his debut. The Celtics obviously look good, but they've had a few games that have been way closer than they probably should have been. They barely beat the Nets in overtime, then they lost to the Hawks that didn't even have Trae Young, and then barely beat the Raptors, which also went into overtime. Other than that, they're still one of the best teams in the league while also missing a key center. The Rockets currently have the 5th best record in the entire NBA right now, which doesn't surprise me at all. I said before the year started that they were going to take a big step this season, and so far they definitely have. Every player on the team has been impactful, some more than others, but a different player could go off every night. They just put up 143 points against the Bulls with 7 different players in double figures. The Lakers went from looking really good to really bad and back to really good all within the first month of the season. LeBron and Anthony Davis have been carrying the team, although some guys are finally starting to step up. Especially rookie Dalton Knecht, who has already been closing out games and put up a career-high 27 points against the Pelicans. AD is still playing MVP level basketball, while LeBron put up 4 consecutive triple-doubles for the first time in his entire career at 39 years old. The Lakers are on a 5-game winning streak and currently sitting at the 4th seed. The Magic are a team that should be getting talked about way more. They were off to a really solid start, but when Paolo got hurt, they immediately went on a 5-game losing streak. Since then, they've completely turned it around and are now on a 5-game winning streak. Franz Wagner has taken over the team and is easily playing like an all-star. Hopefully going forward though, they can play every game in Orlando, because so far this season, the Magic are 7-0 at home while being 1-6 on the road. That's the biggest home and away differential in the NBA, and it's not really close. The Knicks are 1 game over 500 and are slowly starting to figure it out with their new team. They just won back-to-back games over the Nets and should be on a 4-game winning streak despite losing to the Bulls in a game where Towns had 46 points. The Knicks haven't looked the best at times, but haven't looked bad at all either. I'm still giving them time to adjust to their new additions. The Suns started off extremely hot with an 8-2 record, but since losing Kevin Durant, they've gone 1-4 and right now we're on a 3-game losing streak. There were multiple games that KD single-handedly won, so it's not a surprise this team has taken a pretty big hit. It also doesn't help that now Bradley Beal is going to miss the next few games with a calf strain. Devin Booker just put up 44 points in a loss to the Timberwolves and is going to need to keep doing that if they want to stay afloat until everyone's healthy. This is the exact reason why you should take every regular season game seriously. Because they won so many games to start the season, KD getting hurt isn't going to completely destroy them in the standings. The Nuggets are currently 7-5 because Jokic is modern-day Wilt Chamberlain. They started the season looking pretty rough, but have started to put it all together sooner than I even expected. However, they have lost their last 2 games, but that's mainly because Jokic has been out for personal reasons. so hopefully everything's okay because that's not something we've really seen from him. The Timberwolves have gotten 2 big wins over the Kings and the Suns. They were able to get the win over the Kings despite a 60-point game from De'Aaron Fox. Most people miss this because they were watching Mike Tyson, but this was one of the most fun to watch games of the season so far. Then in their win over the Suns, it came down to a buzzer-beating 3 from Julius Randle after Devin Booker dropped over 40. Absolutely insane games and wins, but somehow this is the same team that lost back-to-back games against the Trailblazers right before those. Although the Blazers haven't been looking as bad as they've been. They're currently on a 3-game win streak and they've looked a lot better since Shaedon Sharpe came back. Shaedon has had back-to-back 30-point games, and he had one of the most vicious putback dunks I've ever seen. Also, rookie Donovan Clingan has been looking a lot better on both sides of the floor. The Kings have an 8-6 record, and De'Aaron Fox has scored 109 points in his last 2 games alone, which happened on back-to-back nights. He's been unbelievably good, and he's on pace to have the best season of his career so far. But they are going to want DeMar DeRozan back in the lineup as soon as possible so Fox doesn't have to score 100 a game anymore. The Grizzlies also have an 8-6 record and would be a lot better if Ja Morant never got hurt. They've actually been able to go 3-2 while Ja has been out because Jaren Jackson Jr. has been really solid. The Pistons are sitting at just under 500 and still look so much better than they did last year. New head coach JB Bickerstaff has clearly been an upgrade over Monty Williams, and Cade Cunningham is still so much better than people give him credit for. The Atlanta Hawks are 6-8, but they're actually one of my favorite teams to watch. Trae Young is always entertaining, but it's actually their young guys that make me want to watch. Dyson Daniels has easily been one of the best defenders in the entire league. Plus, Jalen Johnson and Zachary Risache are starting to look really good. For the Clippers, James Harden became second on the all-time three-pointer list and is also averaging almost a triple-double. Not to mention, Norman Powell is still playing incredible and has even become the team's leading scorer. The Mavericks have been a very up-and-down team, but honestly, I'm not too concerned about it. Like I said in last week's recap, they've been struggling to close out games, and we literally saw that again when they played the Utah Jazz. However, they were able to close out a big-time game against the Thunder, and PJ Washington finally had another massive performance. The Brooklyn Nets were another team that started off really well, but has kind of fallen off. They've lost 5 out of their last 6 games, even though a lot more players are getting involved. Tyler Hero has been the Heat's best scorer by far, averaging over 26 points a game, which is the most amount of points a Heat player has consistently scored in a while. I mean, he scored 20 or more points in his last 7 games. Bam Adebayo is starting to look like himself again, and they're just trying to hold on until Jimmy Butler gets back from his sprained ankle. Also, Eric Spoelstra called a timeout in their first in-season tournament game when they didn't have a timeout, which ultimately lost them the game against the Pistons. The 76ers and the Milwaukee Bucks are both looking pretty bad, even though they were hyped up to be some of the best teams in the East. The Bucks have lost multiple games that they should have won, all while Giannis is averaging 32 points a game. It took Giannis scoring 59 points for the Bucks to beat the Pistons by 7. There was even a screenshot from that game where he had like 20 points and the next highest was at 2 or something like that. For the Sixers, it's a bit of a different situation. They have an even worse record at 2-10 and basically every important player is hurt. But at least something good has come from all of it. Rookie Jared McCain has stepped up in the absence of Tyrese Maxey and has looked like a serious piece of the team's future. He's had almost 20 or more points in his last 5 games and has had times where he literally looked like the best player on the court. Jared really wasn't getting minutes originally, but that's going to change going forward even when everyone comes back. The Pacers are 1 game under 500, mainly due to the inconsistent play from some of the team's key players and a few injuries. Tyrese Halliburton has probably been the one struggling the most, but it's still pretty early. For the Pelicans, they've been absolutely decimated by injuries. Literally almost their entire team is hurt right now. Then for the Spurs, everyone was saying Wembanyama was taking way too many threes. So what did he do? He took even more threes. He had a massive 34-point game against the Kings and even had a 50-point game against the Wizards. CP3 has had multiple double-doubles and the team is just super fun to watch. The Utah Jazz are no longer the worst team in the league because the Raptors are on a 7-game losing streak and the Wizards are on an 8-game losing streak. And the players of the week for week 4 are De'Aaron Fox, who averaged 40 points a game, and Franz Wagner, who averaged 30 points while leading the Magic to a 3-0 record. It was really just a solid week in general. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and please leave a like on the video, it helps me out a lot. Also subscribe if you're new for more basketball videos just like this one.